Hi there, what's you up to now? Day 2801. Today we're talking about celebration, supersizing our business, spiritual IDEANCE process, which step 6 is celebrate, and being a better you as part of this year's annual challenge. To be a better you annual challenge, we're doing one thing every day to be a better version of ourselves. And part of that involves the IDEANCE process. We've got a 7-step process that we came up with in January. And this month, since we're focusing on spiritual health and well-being and spiritual wellness, we are applying the IDEANCE process the last 7 days of the month to a spiritual goal or spiritual challenge area that we want to improve by the end of this year, or that we want to eliminate by the end of this year, or a goal that we want to achieve by the end of this year. So I selected, I'm pretty open about that, I do this challenge right along with you, my connection to a higher power, my connection to source or God or Jesus, whatever you want to call it, or whatever you believe in, based on whatever you believe in. And everybody in the group has picked a different thing that they want to focus on and work on. And that's how it should be. We do a challenge to be a better person, and we do a challenge to help ourselves and our life and create the life that we want. That's the whole intent and purpose behind it. So today we talked about celebrating, and by the time I got to Supersize Your Business, I'm like, oh, why don't we just use the journalistic framework, who, what, where, when, why, and how, to decide how all of the answers to those questions with respect to celebration. And I shared that I do a couple things. I share that I like to celebrate the big lessons learned that I have, as much as when I actually have wins in my life and in my businesses, because for a long time I didn't celebrate. I didn't celebrate much except my kids' birthdays and holidays and things like that. And in between, I just ran through my life and worked. And for a few years, I was kind of miserable. I mean, I was not at all connected to anything, much less myself. And like I said, I was running through my life just trying to keep all the pieces and juggle all the balls in my little red wagon. And then my little red wagon overflowed, and I almost wasn't here anymore. But I am, gratefully. So I like to celebrate things. I actually keep a list on my refrigerator of things that make me feel good. And whenever I want to celebrate, and celebration doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be going on a vacation. It doesn't have to be, going on a bender. It doesn't have to be going out to dinner. It doesn't have to be anything except things that make you feel good. I used to celebrate by taking a bubble bath. That's on my list. And then I like to celebrate by just getting out in nature and going for a walk, things like that. But that feels good to me. You have to have and decide what feels good to you. I highly recommend that everybody have a list like that. This makes me feel good list, because it doesn't just help us celebrate wins and lessons learned or whatever we like to celebrate. It helps us whenever we need a pick-me-up. And who doesn't need a pick-me-up? Sometimes several times a day, right? I think that's why people get bad habits, is they are like, I need to change my state immediately. What am I going to do? And they'll do something that maybe isn't good for them, like smoke or drink or eat sweets. Been definitely guilty of that in my lifetime. Caramels are, so addicting to me. Some people are addicted to other things. I love caramel almost anything. So ask yourself today, what things would make me grow and feel better if I celebrated them? And it might just be the simplest thing. Maybe you get up and you make your bed in the morning, and that makes you feel like you've accomplished something during the day, and you celebrate that, right? Do a little happy dance when you wake up in the morning. Maybe you're just celebrating waking up in the morning. I do. I'm just happy to wake up every day, right? As we all should be. Anyway, so we talked about that today. That's what we're talking about. Tomorrow, we're going to wrap up our focus on spiritual health and well-being, and we're going to move into physical. And this is really interesting because I'm chomping at the bit to work on the physical area and aspect of my life, because usually that's the first area I cover every year in the annual challenges. We talk about physical health and well-being, and we do a bunch of topics on that, and then we get set for the rest of the year what we're going to do all year. And I didn't do that this year. I mixed up all of the areas of the life framework, the 9 physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution, communication, and confidence that I use. And I mixed them all up. I did them in a different order than I've ever done them before. And in my personal life, as well as sharing in the annual challenge. And so I'm like, okay, this feels weird, but I think it was good because it opened up different pathways and different ideas. But I also maybe I'll go back to the way I did it before. I'll analyze at the end of this year, and I'll go through and I'll do a little postmortem, I call it, and look at, do I want to mix it up even more? Because there might be more value to that, because it has made me have to think differently and do things differently and structure a few things differently than before. But that's good too, right? Change does not have to be bad. I mean, some people resist change like it's the end of the world, but change is actually good because it means that we're growing and becoming who we're really meant to be. All right, if I can help you in any way, hit me up and ask. Otherwise, have an awesome day, and I will, of course, see you tomorrow. Bye.